Okay, now we come to the second sentence of the conclusion, the roadmap. And the roadmap lists the main ideas. We have written a roadmap in our introduction. And just like it's a key ingredient in our introduction, it is also a key ingredient in our conclusion. So in our conclusion, we restate the roadmap in a way that is different from the roadmap in the intro. Look at this example. The intro reads, "When I think about hunters and gatherers, dumb cavemen often come to mind. But in a lot of ways, they were much more impressive than a modern person. Impressively, these ancient humans were able to find food, clothing, and shelter in the most unforgiving climates of the world." Then the conclusion reads, "Without a doubt, the indigenous people of the Arctic were able to carve out a comfortable and enduring way of life in the iciest reaches of the planet. These ancient humans were able to find food, clothing, and shelter in the most unforgiving climates of the world." Notice the problem? While the topic sentences of each, the introduction and the conclusion are written like they're supposed to be. This one is the introduction has its complex topic sentence, and the conclusion is definitive topic sentence. The maps are written exactly the same. And despite the fact that the topic sentences of each one are different and they are written well, I mean, these are both 10 out of 10s for topic sentences. Down here, because they are so repetitive, it doesn't sound good. Having the same map ruins the way the whole essay sounds. So, how do we change it up so that it's not repetitive? First, we change it by flipping the list. By list, I mean the part where it goes word, comma, and word. Or maybe it just might be one word and then another word and word. The list is where your main ideas are mentioned. So in this one, it says these ancient humans were able to find food, clothing, and shelter in the most unforgiving climates of the world. You can see right here, I've underlined my list of main ideas. The way I changed it is, instead of leaving it in the same spot, I moved it from the middle to the beginning. And so in my conclusion, it now says the food, clothing, and shelter these ancient people found in such harsh conditions is truly inspiring. So just by moving the list to the front and then finishing the sentence, it also motivated me to change up the words at the end so that now I have an intro and a conclusion where my map sentences are fairly different. But you can make them even better, even more different by doing this. Flipping the list and finding synonyms for the main idea. So now read my introduction and conclusion to yourself. In fact, go ahead and put it on pause and read it. Now, what you're going to notice is, instead of ancient humans, in my conclusion, I said primal people. So I took some keywords. I took about 3 keywords, and that's a good amount to find, 3. And I found synonyms for them. And I changed them up by, instead of saying, for example, clothing, in my conclusion, like I did in my intro, I changed it to attire. Instead of using shelter, I changed it to homes. And then I also changed one of my main topic words, which was ancient humans. I changed that to primal people. Now, there's even another way you can do this. You can flip the list and summarize the list in a one word or phrase. So you can see right here, the intro says, these ancient humans were able to find food, clothing, and shelter in the most unforgiving climates of the world. Well, look what I did up here. I took food, clothing, and shelter, and instead of repeating them up in the conclusion, I found a word or phrase, in this case a phrase, survival skills, that basically summarized all the main ideas. And so I got the survival skills of these primal people displayed in such harsh conditions is truly inspiring. And so now, when we go back and we read these, see how much better it sounds. It's like a before and after picture. So go ahead and pause this and read it. and then read this slide. And then after you've paused and read this sign or this slide, read this slide. And then think about what I did. So it says right here, you try. So if you want to try this, all you have to do is pause after I give you the direction. So right now, I want you to read the introduction and try to rewrite the map that's on the bottom by flipping the list. Okay, so here are two that are the same. So now I want you to flip the list. People with low self-esteem have serious problems dealing with school, friends, and the world in general. So pause it and flip the list. When you're ready, unpause. You should have got an answer, something somewhat like this. So the list was serious problems dealing with school, friends, and the world in general. And so I moved it up here to the front. I took it from the end and I put it to the front. Problems dealing with school, friends, and the world in general plague people with low self-esteem. So if you did something like that, congratulations, you did the first step. Now, try the next part. All right, flip the list and add synonyms for the main idea. I would encourage you to try to find 3 synonyms. So there's one example of a conclusion that not only flips the list, but replaces some of the words with synonyms. You can read it yourself, compare them to each other, and see how much better it sounds. And finally, see if you can summarize all the main ideas, school, friends, and general problems in the world, and see if you can find a single word that summarizes all 3 of those main ideas. And then put that in your conclusion. Go ahead and pause, and then when you're ready, unpause. And so that's what I found. The burdens that people with low self-esteem carry can seem overwhelming. So that's it. Basically, flip the list. When you're done flipping the list, either add synonyms, add a few synonyms, or find a single word that summarizes all 3 main ideas, and you will have a map that is written a lot differently than the map in your introduction.